Okay, recording this video before the close, Wednesday 9th of February 2011. It's about 2:40 Chicago time. Just want to get this video out. So far today we've had about 1.4 million contracts traded. We're trading about 315, 16 at the moment. Quite a good kind of trading today with kind of good ranges and good signals. But I am looking at this kind of little pattern over the last couple of days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, where we kind of gapped up on the Monday and we've got this kind of activity sitting at these highs. Again, I'm just seeing really not odd pattern, but a worrying pattern to do with just very low volume at the new highs, together with kind of a mixture of amateur and professional kind of trade sizes, which for me is kind of suggesting this is an important place. So potential island reversal here. We've kind of gapped up and we kind of end up gapping down. The last time that we had a big sell-off, we had this kind of big spike in volume, almost 3 million contracts traded on that day, and then that was all kind of professionals taking advantage of that down move to kind of get in. I just wonder if we're going to be setting up for something like that in the next few days. Because this is again what I'm seeing on all the indices. So this is the NASDAQ just over the last couple of days. We've got these Rambo patterns at the highs, no demand and so on. It's very weak up here. We've had our exhaustion buying, we've had our flush signals, and we've kind of hit another kind of level of exhaustion in terms of buying, so potentially setting up for some kind of move, counter move. Dow, same pattern here. I noted this the last couple of days. I mean, here we've got a whole series of 4 Rambo patterns kind of into new highs with exhaustion buying and so on, so just extraordinary. And then on the S&P 500, after we know kind of yesterday's volume here, again another kind of double Rambo pattern up here. So it just shows lack of demand and kind of very weak buying. But just have to see on Trend Oscillator as well. It's kind of turned over at these highs, so the system's kind of signaled short at this point. Yesterday's activity, although we were making new highs, you can see yesterday the trend value, the adjusted trend value was -4. Which shows that there was actually kind of net selling on that day. So although we were kind of making new highs, that was kind of there was overall weakness kind of going on. Today, we're kind of selling off a little. It's only kind of negative. Well, value keeps on changing, 22.37. So it's not an extreme amount of selling by any means. I haven't shown you the commitment of traders chart in a while, and TradeStation is really annoying me at the moment because you can see the commitment of traders numbers just a flat line at the moment. That's not the case, and every time I keep on reloading the charts, sometimes I'll get the real values for commitment of traders, other times it just kind of flat lines it over the last 3 weeks. In fact, the value this week was 9. Here is kind of net selling, but what I'm worried about here is I kind of flip the commitment of traders numbers. So as the market goes up, we get kind of more and more shorting, and when you get these kind of divergence patterns happening, they kind of lead to sell-offs. So coming into this point here, we started to see less and less lower and lower peaks being made. Similarly, kind of coming into this area here, we started to get a divergence when price was continuing to go up. The professionals on the commitment of traders were doing the reverse, and you can actually see that quite clearly if this chart were actually plotting the real data. So a TradeStation kind of data screw up here as we're making new highs. This is showing just divergence in terms of the commitment of traders numbers. So if anybody else is kind of looking at the commitment of traders numbers, just draw your attention to that. And then today, 40,500 tip bar chart, this 1320 level has been pretty key. We've got less and less buying. Coming into these highs, we had a flush signal, bearish divergence and so on. We've not really kind of made a huge dent in the market today, but all I'm suggesting is that there's less and less buying at the new highs. And then going down to the 4,500 tip bar chart, this kind of showed some really nice moves today. Just want to talk about one move, which was a great kind of short trade. Was taken up at 1321, got short up here at this signal here. You can see it was a cyclical turn on the 4,500 tip bar chart. First kind of new high for the day, we'd had professional selling. The second one up here, we had a flush signal as well as professionals kind of active on the highs, kind of getting out, getting short, a stopping volume pattern. And when we go down to, first of all, the 1500 tip bar chart, this was this point here in the day. And it's kind of interesting that first time in, some professional activity going into the highs, but the second time in, a lot more professional activity. We had exhaustion buying, And it's not unusual to see these kind of patterns on a kind of retracement move where we just break to new highs, and it allows the professionals to run some stops and also kind of get short, and this led to this fairly big sell-off. And you can see this on the 500 tip bar chart in some good kind of detail. So the first time into the first high, professional bars, flush signal, bearish divergence, we roll over. We come in to test again, and as we're making new highs, you can see Rambo patterns here. So this move is being led by the amateurs, and therefore it's suspect with this whole little pattern of Rambo patterns. At this little point here where we hit 21, there were all the stops kind of sitting above 21 that got run there, and we had this whole kind of flurry of activity. Professionals kind of active there, gunning those stops, and then we just break to 22 and new highs. Another little Rambo pattern here. As soon as we hit that, bang, the professionals step in. It's a flush signal. We've had our exhaustion buying, and then the market starts to really kind of correct to the downside. And this move was good. The first kind of shoulder of the move down was signaled with the end of trend warning signal on this time frame. I was out at 17, so this kind of around here, which was my kind of pro signal, where we have exhaustion, selling, and a professional blue bar. It was actually a profit target of mine, but coincided with that, so that was nice. And then the low of the move down was signaled here with an end of trend warning signal on the 1500 tip bar chart, and then we've kind of just played around those type of levels for the rest of the day. I'll tack on those trades after this video, but just I got a comment from a subscriber the other day, actually an anonymous comment, just saying, how come you're so bearish about the market? We're in a strong, bullish move, and all I can point to is just say, I'm pretty uncomfortable with a lot of these kind of Rambo patterns on these lower time frames, just showing a lack of demand. And I suppose I'm worried about what happened at the flash crash. When we started to really correct to the downside pretty quickly, all the demand disappeared. It just evaporated, and we ended up with an extremely, a scary kind of strong down move. And I don't know if that's kind of setting up. You can't exactly see it on the other charts. There's weakness in some of the commodities, but equally so the euro and some of the commodity-based Aussie dollar and so on are still pretty strong. So you can't exactly see it in the multi-market kind of view of the world. But all I'm just saying is just be very careful. This is unusual activity at new highs, and we've had a hell of a run up in this bull market so far. So just watch out. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, I hope your trading went well today.
You just reversed and went long at 18.25, so we got a quarter-point loss on that first trade, but come into two professional bars on the 1500 tip bar chart here. Break at the high, signal to it's an icebreaker trade to get long. And we've got a cyclical turn kind of coming up, so might be a fraction early. We might kind of come down and test kind of 1750 again. But we've got a little bit of strength kind of coming in, and we've still got the 4500 tip bar chart kind of in an uptrend, so let's see if this runs a little bit, breaks to new highs. Okay, we're just out at 20.25, just for 2 points, because we're in at 18.25. Icebreaker trade, so just look for 2 points here. And it's kind of good. 1500 tip bar chart, we had another blue bar kind of come in. And we've got a cyclical turn kind of approaching shortly. So anyway, yeah, good place to be out. So that's a quarter-point loss on the first trade, 2 points up on the second trade. See what sets up next. Okay, just short at 19 even. Maybe a little bit late on this trade, but we've got cyclical turn on the 4500 tip bar chart with a blue professional bar at the high. So yeah, we're coming into support here on the 500, so I'm actually a bit late. I think we're going to get a little bit of a bounce back up into 20s. So, but I'm playing effectively that the professionals have taken profits coming into 21. I'm playing the downswing on the 1500 tip bar chart, but let's see how strong this retrace is. Okay, just reversed and went long at 1950. Just because we're coming into another cyclical turn on the 1500 tip bar chart and professional blue bar down here. Got some strength on the 500 with bullish divergence and so on. So it looks like we might kind of test back up to 21. Okay, I'm actually quite glad I've reversed now because we just had this little pullback here back into 19. You can see it was an amateur down bar. Although we got a bullish divergence signal on better momentum. There's quite a lot of selling kind of coming into that, but as soon as we break the lows of that, that's effectively a test bar. So amateurs kind of selling down there, break above that, kind of goes the other way. So we've now got a cyclical turn on the 1500 tip bar chart. I think we'll just be going back to test 21, but anyway, so just that little amateur down bar as a test, and now as soon as we've broken a quarter point or a half point really for confirmation, that's a good signal. Okay, I just got taken out at 21.25. That was for 1 3/4. Just don't like the action at the moment. We kind of popped to new highs, hit some stops here with all this kind of activity up here on the 500 tip bar chart. Then we've got a professional blue bar on the 1500 tip bar chart, and we've got a cyclical turn kind of approaching on this time frame. So exhaustion buying and so on, good place just to take profits on that trade and just wait and see. Okay, just short at 21 even. Could be a little bit early for this, but we have cyclical turn coming up on the 1500 tip bar chart, a couple of blue professional bars at the high and the exhaustion signal here. It's actually a flush signal on the 500, and we rushed to new highs here up at 22, and you can see it was a rainbow pattern up there, immediately followed by professionals kind of stepping in. Yeah, they're in on the 4500 tip bar chart here too, so it's not as if this cyclical turn was being kind of broken. I suppose what I'm playing is a double top effectively within this cyclical turn on the 4500 tip bar chart. So yeah, maybe a little bit early to get short, but anyway, short at 21 even. Okay, just a couple of minutes later, we had blue professional bars kind of come up now on both, all three time frames. You can see here on the 500 and on the 15 and the 45. Kind of interesting place here. It's almost like they were in a rush to get in, and we're kind of breaking to the lows here, so it could be good for kind of the short trade. It's kind of almost falling through the ice and kind of trying to get onto this trade quickly, but if we break above the highs, that'll signal accumulation, but I have a feeling this might be to the downside. Well, we're absolutely hanging on a ledge here at 13.20 even. So we're kind of below support on 500 tip bar chart. Had a rainbow pattern here suggesting the amateurs are kind of leading the way a bit, and we kind of bounced from there. Here we go, broken to 19. At 20 I could be out with 4 points, but my trading's been scrappy with about 5 trades, and so I've got some brokerage commissions to pick up as well. And just have a feeling that this might be a little bit of a runner, so I'm going to be holding on. Well, that's great. I just got taken out at my profit target at 17. And as soon as we started to break at 19, went really quickly, and blue professional bar kind of come in. It's going to be an exhaustion selling signal here, so it's a great place to be out. And that's great, 7 points, 5 trades. There we go, literally 30 seconds later we get the exhaustion selling signal, not a blue professional bar on the down. And you can see on the 4500 tip bar chart, kind of swan dive of professional bars kind of coming down. This is support area kind of earlier on, kind of pre-open, so we'll probably have a little bit of a bounce here, but oftentimes, that's what I find, the profit targets often kind of coincide with where you'd see these exhaustion selling or exhaustion signals with blue professional bars, so it's often a good place to be out. I suppose the only reason I would use this as an exit instead of the profit target would be if I'd had a poor entry. So if I'd entered at 20 instead of 21, I'd be up 3 points, and I'd get out at that point rather than waiting for the profit target. But if I've usually kind of made a good entry, and the high was up at 22, so 21 wasn't a bad entry point. This is the profit target often comes where we get these kind of professional signals for getting out, taking profits. But anyway, done for the day. See what how things. It's still breaking to new lows. There we go. Interesting. Anyway, we'll see where this goes.